And so StreamYard tells me it's showtime, and I am live, and you and I, now a we, since in the same place at the same time together, we are a we kind of. My name is Ryan Erickson, and welcome to Riffing with Ryan here on this now, what it is for me. I'm not going to tell you what day, what when, because when you may be watching this, who on earth knows? But today is going to be one of the This is an Agile Coach sessions with a new riffing partner here, Dirk Fabricius. And I encountered Dirk recently from a post he made and introduced me to a very interesting world of natural artificiality and beautiful artistic wanderings. And there's something to do with Agile in there, but we shall find out here in a moment. And say welcome to Dirk.
Hey, Ryan.
Hi. So, yeah, and a good day to you. Oh gosh, I said it was day. So my first question, and I hope will invite you into saying who you are while you're here, is what is your Agile identity?
So I will go a little bit in my CV. I'm a developer since 26 years. So I'm working in development since 26 years. And I was IT teacher for some time. Development backend mostly, some front end. And in 2015, I went to be PO for a nice company in automotive data, so Tech Alliance, and I did 2 years of PO work. And that introduced me to the whole Scrum world. And I enjoyed highly what our Scrum Master was doing. So I switched jobs. And since then, so 2017, I'm in agile coaching roles mostly. So all kinds of those, being an OKR master, Scrum Master, which is my favorite role here. I have been transformation coach, which I don't like by the title. Agile coach, of course. I did coach Kanban. So a lot of coaching experience in there, but I never really liked the term agile coach. So that would be my identity. I identify as Scrum Master. So my pronouns would be Scrum Master.
Okay, well, you really seeded the space very nicely. So thank you for that. And with that, perfect question is, well, what is an agile coach?
I would like to split this answer. So Comic Agile phrased it very nicely in one of their highly recommended cartoons. And they had a cartoon about someone wanting to become an agile coach, and they got help, and they switched their LinkedIn tagline to agile coach, and that's it. So first variant would be simply change your LinkedIn profile to agile coach. There is no conglomerate of agile coaches. You wouldn't get sued, fined, anything. Simply state you're an agile coach, and you will be an agile coach. When you don't like that, maybe go for some certs. I see Agile is doing a lot of those for Agile coaching. Scrum.org has their certified enterprise coach, certified team coach. I did some with Disruption Factory. They have some multiple choice tests, and even ICF at the moment is doing digging into that Agile coaching stuff. But basically that doesn't cut it for me. So when you ask me what an agile coach is, I would go for describing what the agile coaches I met did and what they had in common and what they were doing. So for me, those are the agile coaches I would refer to. And one of those would be Andre Dont, who I highly enjoyed. I was Scrum Master in that company, and he was supporting the Scrum Masters. So I could book times with him when I have any questions. He never did that coaching stance, which I know from some of the other agile coaches, which come, no, I'm going to coach you. So basically, I'm going to tell you, no, I had to ask him. And this for me is coaching. You can't coach someone who doesn't want to be coached. So Andre was supporting Scrum Masters. This was part of his job as agile coaching. And he was doing trainings, agile trainings for C-level and management. He served as consultant, and the trainings and the support I really enjoyed. Some perfect agile coach for me. What he also did was writing agile processes. So we had a huge SDLC, loads of documentation. The company was doing business for the FDA, so in medical, which means more documentation is better. And Andre wrote agile processes. A bad idea for an agile coach. Never do that. Write better processes instead.
Mm-hmm.
So this would be one of the agile coaches I met. He, for me, is an agile coach. Yes.
Well, that's your opening position, and thank you for that. So we can cut this off in the future. I'll do that so I know where to go in the video for it. And so that leads me into this idea of, okay, the coaching stance. You mentioned that ICF is starting to get. I didn't realize that there was a literal ICF brand of that they brought into this. So that's an interesting place to start, because this whole no such thing bit, there's an assertion that professional coaching, i.e. ICF or what have you, has hijacked agile coaching. I got a sense that may be your feeling about that. So okay. So what do you think that's the truth? Do you think that's real? Do the professional coaches belong in this domain?
And this is, it depends. And as a coach they would ask about the context. So do they belong there? So you have professional systemic coaching.
Yeah.
I think there's a huge overlap with what an agile coach should know. You have business coaching. An agile coach, in my opinion, should know about business. They should know finance. They should know metrics, product management, of course, product development. In preparation, I looked at your interview with Brian Finster, and he said an agile coach needs to know CI/CD. And if you are in a development background, you need to know CI/CD. You need to know what swarming would mean. And these are not necessarily the things taught in those agile coaching courses. So to cut it shorter, if you start as a life coach, you have a lot to learn. I'm not saying a life coach doesn't belong into agile coaching. They have the coaching bit right. But agile coaching, the coaching stuff is a tiny portion of what is needed. And life coaches get the coaching part right, but not necessarily the agile, and certainly not the business or the development part.
Which kind of tells me, well, how much agile coaching is that? I mean, that it's in a software development environment. You think, well, what do you actually know about software development, and why were you hired? And don't take, for me, I also, as you see, that there is a huge value to personal growth, development coaching, that kind of individual transcendence and consciousness gaining and stuff, which is fantastic. But it gets back to the question, right? What's the context? Well, the context is that we are a group of software developers, a development team, analysts, all this kind of stuff in a technological environment. And yes, collaboration, psychological interactions, relationship coaching is huge. It's a giant part of it. But if you're not speaking the language, there's only so much you can do, right? Have you been in that kind of situation where again, maybe the coach you were, it sounded like the Andre, you're saying he sounds like a very, very experienced kind of
agile coach, but I met a lot of other agile coaches. I met agile coaches who started as Scrum Master and then said, I don't enjoy working with teams, so I'm agile coach now. Which for me is strange. I I met an agile coach who started as sex coach.
As in sexuality coach.
Sexuality coach, and then 2 years in development, and there's something missing. They need to learn that at some point. I'm not saying that they don't belong there or that they can't. Of course not. Growth mindset means yes, they can do that, but they need to put effort in that, and it's not one certification. Agile coach for me is a senior position. I don't like the term senior agile coach. No, every agile coach needs to be a senior employee. They need to know what they are talking about. And it's not cut with just asking about how you feel. And this is nice. But an agile coach, I think the example was, needs to be hands-on sometimes. You can't simply go for mindset. You need to make a process proposal. You need to show some waiting times. You need to go for the metrics. So you need to know the financial numbers. You need to calculate in the pilot metrics in IRR, for example. And the life coaches are not doing this. So they make you feel better. It's nice to have those, but then you still need an agile coach.
Yeah, we have a comment right there when talking about I live your pain, Dirk. So apparently that feeling of frustration is knowing the work domain it's out there. And thank you for the comment, Sally. My goodness.
Yeah, thank you.
So I mean, it's interesting. You came up from the development ranks.
Yes.
And you served in these roles in the technical environment. Now, for me, I came up I was in IT, but I was never a software developer. I worked with development teams, but more as a business analyst, project manager, and application support. So understanding the context from many different perspectives, if you're going to work with a software team, I think is important. And then I think where kind of jumps the shark is then if you completely strip all of the technology and the technical expertise from that role, is that what you lose, or what I would lose if I'm in a technology team and some person, I was going to say bozo, but no, that's not nice. But some person comes in and without any kind of knowledge of the environment and talks to me in that domain, it's like, I don't really respect you. I don't have a lot of respect for your authority, because I don't feel that you understand me and the problems I'm facing, and you don't understand my context. So, and that's saddening. And that's saddening. So go ahead. You were going to say something to that saddening, maybe.
Yeah, it is saddening, because a part of agility for me was removing unnecessary hierarchies. Not necessarily all hierarchies, but unnecessary ones, which don't provide value, which only make things slower, where you have handoffs, some people telling you how to do your work, but you know better. And when agile coaches are acting like this, we add to the problem and not reduce the problem. We are adding exactly what we were supposed to remove here.
Yeah, asking for permission from someone who doesn't have knowledge of the situation, that sounds an awful lot like command and control management to me. And boy, did you take a look? Did you know who I am about this whole hierarchy thing before you came in here? Because that's like catnip to me, about talking about this idea of, it's so much more important that the people in the team doing the work have consequence with each other and the shared accountability, and then to like, oh, well, why are you telling me this, that, or the other?
Yes.
So, and that unnecessary hierarchy, I would say that most of those formal hierarchies they have limited utility. But again, this is not about my opinion. This is about your opinion. What was it about that kind of hierarchical feeling that they said, well, why did that feel bad to you, I guess?
I met agile coaches who started to implement agile frameworks. So Scrum, if they were there, some started with SAFe and some with OKRs. And when I have a team and I need to convince them that this is a good thing, I would need to go for metrics. So the first thing, when I would like to for some reason implement SAFe in a company, I would measure. I would get all the numbers I need to be able to validate the assumption that this is a good thing, or to do a rollback afterwards. To say, yeah, it was an experiment, didn't work, perfect. And agile coaches are not doing this. So when they are tasked with implementing some large framework, they are not measuring anything, because that would make their work visible, and they want a success here, not an experiment. And this for me is hierarchy. So when some agile coach goes into development and says, we are going to have SAFe, and a developer who's engaged will ask, why? And then usually you get some generic answer from a course. And then how can we determine whether this is useful for us? And then you can't start measuring after the implementation. You need to start measuring before the implementation to see whether you make everything worse. And they're not doing this. And for me, this is unnecessary hierarchy. It's a hierarchy position, telling development what to do without telling them the reasons for doing that.
Now, why am I measuring you? For what purpose? To what end? And who is that benefit? Who is it for? It's not because it's not for you. It's not for you on the team doing the work, and it's not even for the customer. Maybe that. So, when I read through your profile again, just I think not even the profile, just looking at the headline of how you present yourself, it was caring for agility.
Yes.
What do you mean by caring for agility? I had to go there.
So I read that many years ago when I started to go into Scrum. It was a tagline by Hunter Verheyen, whose work I enjoy very much. He has agile caretaker in there. And I thought this is basically what I think I should do. But I'm not saying that I'm a caretaker. I'm just stating that I care for this. I enjoy that. And if you try to advocate for agility, this is a better stance than I'm an agile consultant. They come when they are asked, and they leave when they are not paid. And I say, no, there's a value for me in there. I like companies to be more agile, not agile, because for me it's a scale. You can't be not agile at all, and you can't be agile and this is 100%. It makes no sense. It's a scale. And I like them to be more agile. It will lead to better work. And the reason I studied economics. So I have an economics background, university till 99, with business computer science in there, of course, a lot, developing on the Commodore and stuff like that. But it was economics. So I'm also older. I'm 51 now. So I learned all the theory about businesses, because I said at one point I want to know about that, because when aliens arrive at our planet, they will regard companies as the ruling life form. So it was interesting to me. I wanted to know. And then I got all that theory, and then I went into the business world, and that was nothing like this. It was really bad. And I thought it would be nice to improve that, to make it a little bit better. And when I saw agility at first, I saw, yes, you can get rid of some of the levels in there. You have better planning. I have been also project manager for a CRM project. With that planning method, I would have had a better result, a better team, more fun at work. So we should aim for that. Better work. And agility is one of the components.
So yeah. Oh, like decrapifying work. Is that one, to decrapify it, to make work better? I'm calling that word in there because I know you follow those guys, right?
Yes, removing some waste in there.
Yeah. And in this idea of better work, that what's broken about work? What do you think?
You look at the wrong things. So when you go for value, you should act completely different. And I had the discussion frequently right now about software architecture. Where should it be placed? And I say below the customer, below the value. You can't place software architecture on top, because then it will end with software. No one is paying for software architecture. So not the customer, at least, is paying for software architecture. So we should organize around value. And this is something you can read in any book about value stream mapping. And it's written there, or not, and then they don't do that. So this would be something which need to change. Of course, the smaller teams, self-managed, we need to stop taking agility from the people. And I think we are all agile to a high degree. As human beings, I constantly react to all kinds of things and change everything. I move, I have a new partner and kids and family. So as humans, we are very agile. And we should keep that as when those humans enter the doors of a company building. How is it taken away? Why is it not still there when we are working together? And this is what you should do. Not strip the good stuff away as soon as you enter an office.
Don't leave your humanity at the door. or when you open the keyboard.
Yeah.
Oh, so at this point, I would like to move it into the final question of the day. We'll bop that there, and I will ask you, in this community that is not a community, it's this agile work domain. In this agile work domain, what is the most dangerous question that you feel is not being asked or has never been asked in this domain?
The most dangerous question for an agile coach or scrum master would be, and where does that end? So when I was in a course last week, I got presented again the model with a one product owner. So 4 development teams, 1 product owner. And when you as a Scrum Master would answer honestly, where does it end? Yes, with 1 product owner and 3 product owners out of work. Where does it end for the managers? Yes, they need to find something else. It's a disruptive system, but we don't treat it like that. I got told that agility is more disruptive than most people would like, and that it should be like this. But it's not being treated like this by the agile coaches, because in many cases that would mean they lose their jobs. For me, it also would mean that I lose my job as soon as I start restructuring. No, we have 1 product owner and 1 product. What is our product? It doesn't make sense. So the most dangerous question any Scrum Master or Agile coach would answer, if they answer honestly, is the question, what happens to my job? When you really got to say how to restructure the company, this will mean some heads. And it's not something I like, because I started to make work better. This was it, not better by removing employees. There's a limit for me. So this would be a dangerous question for me. If you answered honestly, where will I fit into this? And then you can start talking around, maybe change of role, job security, but not role security. We will find something, but ultimately this will cost some jobs.
There. Oh, I didn't say it over the whole screen. Okay, so that's your dangerous question to ask about. And this is the point where I'll cut it off for at some point in the future, and now we can just kind of go for as long as we go on whatever we want to go about. Kind of, we're there.
Okay.
So, where do I belong? That I think is that's almost the question that you're going to, is that if does this agile thing, whatever this is, and define it however you want, that this transformation effort, it represents a change in something for me, and I don't know what that change is, and do I have a place in the world that you're offering me? And so
that might be a question the Scrum Masters also will have to answer at some point. I enjoy that a Scrum Master should thrive. They should thrive for self-managed teams, and aiming for making themselves obsolete also is a means to get those self-managed teams. And the Scrum Master also might ask, where do I fit in afterwards? So what happens? Do I have to be project manager again, or do I have to code? I haven't been typing code for 5 years, and what is happening now?
And where do we go from here?
Yes.
And so Sally is joining here. I want to bring Sally's other comment here, because you just kind of went right into it.
Yes, an evolution. It's an evolution.
Yeah. I don't know that I necessarily agree with no such thing as transformation, but I would be happy to talk about that. Sally, I'll invite you into it at some point. Maybe we can all talk together. So
yeah, I highly enjoy her words, and no bad agile. It's entertaining every day.
Yeah. I'm so curious about.
Yeah, stop bad agile.
Stop bad agile. Okay. Where I want to go with you now is the actually the posts that you've been doing, the music, the art, the kind of poking fun at what's happening here. Where did that come from? How did that start?
It started with me enjoying those things from other people. So I mentioned Comic Agile. I enjoy them. I enjoyed the Scaled Agile DevOps Maturity Framework from Brian Finster, who you had in that. Yes, he did that, and I enjoyed the other people poking fun at it, like Michael Küsters. He developed another scaled framework. I enjoy the works from Mike Cohn, who has their April Fool's Day for Mountain Gold software every time. So all those people pointing fun at it, taking some of the seriousness out of this, because it shouldn't be a serious effort. You can't really do that alone. When you have a Scrum Master, this role is not.
It's a ridiculous title. It is a ridiculous title.
Yes.
It is probably. It's God, it's like the worst title to bring in this. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, the way I feel about it this morning. But yes, rugby, Scrum, got it. Great, cool. Scrum Master, and then you get into this idea of, the whole language of Scrum. I think it's frustrating to me. This morning, I feel it's very frustrating because it's not about necessarily, I am not the master, right? I'm master of the process, that I'm owning the process. I'm caring for the process. That loving care, just to me, it's like it was sucked out of this process. And when in 2001, the spirit of it was all about, okay, let's bring some sense and humanity into looking at this world objectively, not trying to figure this out for somebody else. But oh man. So yeah, the word Scrum Master bugs me, at least today.
I'm perfectly fine with it. You shouldn't take it seriously. This is my take on it. It's not to be taken seriously. The work, the effort, the results, yes, but not the means. I enjoyed Tobias Meyer comparing the Scrum Masters with modern court jesters, and I take that for me. I use it. So, not the court fool, not the court joker, but a court jester, and they were a little bit different. And a Scrum Master should be able to do this. So, telling C-level that they fucked up here in some friendly, maybe funny way, but still they did. And we need to talk about this. Otherwise, the company goes really bad. And I saw those companies too.
Yeah. And it's interesting that how that happened in those days of monarchs and kings, and that they would actually pay someone to be a jester, and
Yes.
and that the purpose of that person was to provide a little bit of levity and a mirror to that, to poke fun. I don't necessarily think that the managerial professional class of folks in modern technology, technocratic business, I don't necessarily think that they're hiring jesters, and that they, I mean, I would love to. I played the position, a musician, Tobias Mayer says about being the poet.
Yep.
That is the most lovely framing of how you engage the organization. For me, I mean, I love poetry, and that it's like this musician, bard, jester. That's fantastic. And also it's something of a, well, I didn't hire you for that. So there's a crunch there. What, you want to be that, I want to be that. What is it? How can we, you and I, be like that in the environment when it's hostile?
Yes, you can't. It's not possible. So I thought about that quite a lot, and in my opinion, in a hostile environment, you can't promote agility. That needs to change, and with agile methods, you don't change that. So first needs to be some insights, and then you can start with pushing power down to the teams who have the information to make the decisions.
Well, the folks who have that power and authority and decisions, they have to want to do it.
Yes.
To be open to it, right? I must regret I did not have your music up to play here. Do you have any of your music that you can queue up for us so we can share in the stream here, possibly?
Yes, sure. I can send you a link, or
yeah, I wanted to get that because I realized, oh my gosh, because that was such a big part of why I definitely wanted to have you here. Did you start?
Would you want a single song, or give me a second?
I'll ask Sally. Maybe Sally has a favorite song. And Sally also has a recommendation. Oh, no, this is Sabrina. Hi, Sabrina. Sabina. Oh my gosh. Fantastic. Oh. Because I like to have some music here. Did you start by playing an instrument? Were you formally trained in some way, or
nothing? I got told as a young kid that I can't sing, that I never should play an instrument. But I enjoyed listening to music, so I have a huge CD collection. As I said, a little bit older, so a huge CD collection, even some vinyl standing around here, and a record player. So I enjoyed listening to music. It was not, I never thought that I could, I'm not really making it, but I could have my ideas in place. about music. I always had some ideas what could be done. And I know that AI is not there yet. It will be at some point. I'm sure it made real leaps. So you probably, when I would put one of my songs in a typical techno DJ set, you might not be able to point at it. So this is how good AI is right now. But if you would compare it to a real musician doing songs, it's not that. But for me, it's about fun to have one idea, to have a release of that idea. So I started writing articles, and this was a lot of effort, which I didn't like. I had the idea for an article, but then going into do that editoring stuff is a drag, but with the music, it always was fun. So
It feels like it gives a richness and character to what you're saying. I mean, that's again, it's what makes music such a more emotionally empowering or a powerful format. Because our words, we can talk. I mean, I can give you my body language, all this dancing and jumping around, and we have the visual cues from our environments here. But to bring that extra spice, that mystery, I think it's beautiful mystery, right? That is the music. And for now, it's interesting to me that this artificial music, it plays a role in enabling a sense of creativity that you have. You want to hear this kind of music, and you want to see these images that you may not have the technical capacity to draw them in exactly the way you want, but it's a way to engage in that expression a bit more. I don't know. How do you feel about it? I mean, I could say that, oh, it's liberating, but what is it for you to have those tools that you can express your ideas in a different way?
I can listen to the music I want. So I'm listening to my own music in my car, for example. I like to listen to that. Those were songs I would like to buy. If someone would offer me that, I would have bought that. I would have said, yeah, a little bit corny, a little bit strange, maybe not so much effort in everyone, but there's some joke in there, and there are some other jokes, and there's some truth in there, and maybe change something in my company, because he's pointing at some things I also noticed, but I never really could put my finger on it. And something like this.
Well, I'm gonna look here and find. I think you in that article that turned me on here to what you got. You linked to some music in there, and I'm still trying to find it because we're getting requests. I'm getting musical requests here in our chat from Sabina and Sally. So this is Canary Died. Is that?
Yeah, Canary Died is great. It is, so the background for Canary Died was a canary project I did. Basically, I was a canary in that one. So a company had huge hierarchies in place, and they wanted to try whether that agility works for them. So they set up a canary project. A completely new team. They never met each other before. Me as a Scrum Master, requirements engineering in there, and it was a mess. But somehow in the middle of the project, management decided that the project was a complete success. Not based on any of our deliveries or anything. They decided that in some other round, complete success. After that, the project was a complete success. It was not. It was messy. We didn't finish. The customers couldn't use the tool we deployed. I had to develop on the side in magic time afterwards, so they could at least get some reports out of that thing. And
what was successful about it?
Nothing was. They decided it was not based on us, but on what they wanted. They wanted it to be a success, so they decided it's successful, and that was a canary project I had as a Scrum Master. And all those mechanisms, they're not based on metrics, not based on any communication you could observe. Maybe it's a golf club communication. I don't know where they meet for those decisions.
It's a story. It's a story. And I think this is interesting. Oftentimes we hear about this blaming, that the story is a story of blame. Well, you did this, you took a chance and it failed, so then you're out, and that you're deauthorized, your status is reduced, and you're kicked off the island or whatever it is. And this is very interesting. That I'm not going to tell. I'm going to keep this secret about this little project because it was this nice flag to wave. Hey, we're doing this innovative thing, and it was a success. Don't look under the covers. No, look over there. Look over there. And that lie. I mean, it's a lie, right? It's a lie to say, I still have this. I still have the status. I can even say that because this was successful, I can raise my status. I can tell a story about myself to others, and that have others tell a story about me that says I am successful, and I'm successful in that way, which is really interesting, because how on earth how do you define success? And if there's no definition for success, how do you know? It's almost like there's no definition for like you ask, how many people do you, and this is the traditional question that happens in the space. Oh, how do you define agile? Everyone has their different, there's camps, right? I don't know. It's the coaching question. It's all about the context, right? It depends.
Not necessarily. How do I define it? I would define it as the ability to pivot, to care, to show emotions at the workplace, to react, basically, because you can move. The ability to move is agile, or agility is agility. I like agility better.
Yeah, well, and I think that proves the point. It's not that there's no definition. There are infinite definitions. There's so many definitions. That's important to define what it means in God. I'm going to hate this word too. In context, right? Where are you? Who is this agility for, and what kind of agility is that? And what does being adaptive and what does adaptation make possible? To what are we responding? I mean, all the great questions that are powerful or not, I don't care. They just have to be relevant, and convergent onto a shared purpose, understanding of that. So where's your curiosity at the moment? What's alive? I wish I could hear Canary died. Maybe we'll do that later.
Yeah, I put it in the chat, in the private chat.
Oh, you got it. Okay, all right. So let's do that here. So, okay. Okay, so I got to make sure it's queued up all the way properly. All right.
Process drunk for it, paperwork rules, agile, they try, bought new tools, canary project, test the new way, halfway through, canary didn't say, canary's gone, management, did someone kill it? No evidence, probing departments, corners of space, agile, who done it, who's behind the case, product management claims we did our best, gave clear directions, let the team do the rest, development, Shorty wrote all the code, if the birdie died, it must have been old, canary's gone, management tense, someone killed it, no evidence, probing departments, corners of space, agile, who done it, who's behind the case.
All right. I think we've I could leave this going all day. I'll maybe put this up a little bit. Thank you so much, Dirk.
Thank you, Ryan.
This has been great to be with you. I hope we get to do this again. And I'll see you on the other side. Say see you later. And we'll catch up again. All
Well,
right.
great starting your day.
That's all right.
Bye-bye.
I'm pushing the wrong buttons. This is great. I'm sorry for those of you out there who didn't get to hear the song earlier. My fault, my bad. But thank Dirk Fabricius for bringing this fantastic, wonderful, interesting, and future-based music to the world. Thank you so much for the precious gift of your time and attention. Be more agile. See you later.